Hello everybody, welcome to Masterworks. It looks like somehow our Masterworks intros has disappeared. So we'll have to get in on that. That'll have to be put on the list. But tonight we are going to look at a Rembrandt seascape that is quite incredible in my estimation. So Susan brought this to my attention. I hadn't seen this in a long time, and Susan had said that she'd seen or was looking at this and everything that we had talked about was in here, and so we looked it up, and man, there's a lot in here. So I thought we could spend the entire show tonight just digging around inside this Rembrandt. So we've got that to look forward to, and I think I finally got the title set up. Yes, so I've got new glasses in. They're on their way. Hopefully they will be here within a week or so. And hopefully more buttons will be pressed better. More better buttons pressing. Right? Need all the help I can get. Alright, so Janny's helping me out, making sure I stay on the straight and narrow. Susan is here, the one who started this. So there is actually a lot to look at in here. So why don't we head right over and jump into it. As a reminder, tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. we'll have our Masterworks program. So Masterworks. We're Masterworks now. We'll have morning feedback. That's what we'll have. In the morning. There we go. So here it is. And what I want to do is, we're going to see this a lot, but I would actually like you to see this very tiny first. And see if you can't go ahead and locate those big pieces. You know, where is our light? Where is our dark? So from this size, if we look this at this through the lens in which we work, namely our 4 values, does he have the number 1 value in there? And is that the finish? Well, without a doubt, that's where your eye's going. And then what's the color? Where's the color? What about the gray? And what about the dark? Can you find those 4 things? As I see it, we've got our white, our number 1 value, right? Clearly. All right here. So if we were just to be super obvious about this, and now I'm just not doing that randomly, but when I'm doing that, one of the things I'm noticing is, you know, where is that at? If we're just to look at our 2-dimensional canvas, where is that located at? And then our color blue, yellow or orange, and then it gets a little darker red back down through here. Oh, does anybody else find that interesting? Does anybody else find that interesting? So he's got his white and he's got his color. Huh. I mean, is there anything to that? I don't know. Is there anything to that? Okay, so you see those big movements in there? So let's go in a little bit further, and why don't we start at the finish? Let's start at the finish. You remember what we saw when we were little bitty? Remember we were right in here, right, with all the white. So in a lot of ways, there doesn't need to be a lot of detail with the white. And what I mean by that is if you really take a close look at what the white's doing and saying, you know, sometimes it can get relatively fine, even finer along there. But it's pretty amorphous. And that may not make any sense at all until you think about the color. Like now we're into yellow. Look, that yellow is saying a man's torso, arm, right? Hanging over his leg, flying in the wind, right? We got some blue. So the color is very, very descriptive. Right? I mean, descriptive in the sense as not that the white's not a thingness, right? It's water splashing, but the shape's very, very amorphous. And then when we drop from our number 1 value down to the number 2 in our color, that color gets more specific, right? But it also begins to let go a little bit into that amorphous shape. But definitely more so than the white. What's the gray gonna do? Well, the gray's gonna let go again. And then how about the dark? What does the dark do in this painting? Did you guys notice this big, heavy dark down here? Did you notice that? Well, that's absolutely necessary because look at all the movement in here. And then we're going to look closer, but that dark kind of sneaks right in through there, doesn't it? And then that offers a little solidity. So this dark has really kind of locked us in, hasn't it? Look how much nothingness is going on over here. That's a lot of space with just a little bit happening in it. A lot of space. And that's possible because man, when you have that happening in one corner of the room, how much more do you need going on? Right? That's going to assume most all of the attention right there. By the way, it's not just about that. Can you feel how that part of the shape, that this part, as it releases out into there, is almost an exhale? It's like we've been holding our breath from all of this activity and excitement up here. But that excitement doesn't go from edge to edge. It begins to give way to just gray clouds passing over. These guys probably wouldn't, they'd take issue with me calling these gray clouds. They would probably call these storm clouds, I'm guessing. From the look and the condition of that boat, those are storm clouds. But all the same, can you see this painting? So let's take one more look before we kind of dive in here too deep. Right, so this painting's large and we're looking at it pretty small. And again, let's take it small again so that we can see the wholeness. Right? What if you thought for some reason you thought, man, this guy, what's wrong with him? It's too boring. We need more. We need more excitement in here, right? This is just, oh my gosh. Okay, look, you're gonna take some of this white. You take some of this white and let's put it back on that white. And then the clouds are white, so why don't you spruce up those clouds? And then the sail, I mean that's a white sail, so make that white too. Like make it give it some good impact there. Did we help this painting? So what happened now is that shape's much stronger and it's got competition brewing. Do you see how much tighter it's held here? So one of the reasons that it's so powerful is that this does not compete. This does not compete. This does not compete. And that does not compete. In the demo today, I talked about the most. And after you use the most, it's over. You can never use that much again. And if you do, it's no longer the most. Okay, and that was exactly what I was talking about. That you can mistakenly think, oh, let me brighten this up. But if I start putting a little bit of the most everywhere, And the clouds, and on the sail. This is no longer most down here. It's lost its authority. Okay. So big design, right? We looked our big design. So now let's get in here and see about all this fun. Let's see about all this fun. So big design wise, we basically have light, and then we're stopped by shadow, right? But all that's still light. See how that's all held by a dark there? It's a little dark, but this kind of sneaks over here. And even a little repeat right there. Got a little bit here. See, we're just quietly marching over to that. A little dot, 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 dot. Anybody? Little doo-wop, doo-wop, doo-wop. Right? No matter how much that is, you got to softly walk off of it. So we got some doo-wops there at the bottom, some of our backup singers. And then at the top, we have the sails and the sky. Okay, let's go. So does anybody see rhythms in here? Anybody see rhythms? Uh-oh, we got all kinds of things going on here, huh? Oh. Yeah, so Susan and I was talking about this, and what this came up with is she was watching the documentary, and this was stolen in the 1990s. Rembrandt's only seascape. It was stolen from the Gardner Museum in Boston. They haven't seen it since. Haven't seen it since. How are we doing? Okay, so we got about 12 minutes. So let's take a closer look here. Do you guys feel that? Where does that come from? Well, we've got this white. We've got that white. We've got that white. Right, so that tends to give us that. What's his arm doing? What's his arm doing? What's his arm doing? Do you see these movements? That just continue, right? And are repeated. That's cute. That's cute. Right? It's a good idea, right, to have something pointing straight off to the edge of the canvas. That's something we all want to do all the time. No, 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 no. But when you've got this much power happening over here, getting away with that is not a big deal. Not a big deal. All right, so do you guys see, take these off. Do you guys see that energy and movement? Okay, so in our demo today, we started the demo by saying at no time was I going to paint any part of the painting. But even while I was doing any particular section, I wasn't painting that section. I was still painting the entire composition. So in other words, I painted this section how it needed to be to make the composition or the entire painting work. And when you do that, when you think like that, then you're able to make these seemingly impossible things happen. Why is that not too much? Well, it started to be, and then somebody put a stop to it. Somebody's got to put a stop to it. So there was a redirection. Okay. So again, this is more of a feeling thing, and look at all the energy and the light. Hey, have we ever talked about emergence? About emerging out of the dark and building into full realization? In other words, you see how the mask becomes solid and real as this guy desperately tries to hold the sail around it so they don't lose total control of the ship and the storm? You can see some of the ropes tied there. We've got the highlight on there. The solidity of it all, right, is illustrated too by it blocking out the figure behind it. And as we move to the next section, it doesn't get up and throw a big fit and tump over his desk and quit the job. Just slowly, slowly, slowly starts making a little bit less of it and less of it and less of it. Now some of you may be asking, what do you mean less? I still see. Well, what I mean is the value of this to the value of this is pretty close. Like how dark to light. Look, we have white here. And then we have dark. And look, we got light again. And we've got dark. And we've got light. Big value changes. And up here, we've got a dark on a dark. And we just let that note get louder and clearer as it builds towards the climax of the painting. Do you guys see that journey? So do you think that this guy here, well, that was the position Rembrandt had in class, and that was how the guy looked, so he painted it like that. No. No, 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 no. He needed that, so he put him there. He needed that, so he put him there, he put him there, he put him there, put that hand there, put him there, put him there, and then we've got dark. Or dark is a stop, a pause. Pause, and then we've got less and less. Okay, so this is just a repeating value pattern, just a repeating value pattern. He just happens to be using human anatomy, or the shape of human anatomy, for that light shape. But that is the reason he paints. That's the reason. You guys feeling some of that? All right. So let's spend, oh my goodness, our time goes by fast. Our time goes by fast. So I want to spend just a minute right here. Because this is where a lot of us struggle. And what do I mean? Well, how do you step off of your dark? Where do you go from your dark? How do you go cooler? How do you go warmer? Can you see how he's not matching colors, but he's taking this color and letting it get more and more? Well, what do you mean? Well, compare this to that, to that. So this is less, this is middle, this is most. And then we're going to drop back down again. And here, this is the least. And then a little more, a little more, a little more, and the most. Is that guy hiding in the shadows? Is there somebody hiding in the shadows down there? Yeah. Of course there is. It's Rembrandt. Look, completely invisible. All right, guys, we're running out of time, so I'm going to wrap this up. God, we could just go for hours. But what I want you to notice is, notice how these characters stay together. Right? these characters stay together. These characters are bridging those two. Okay. Notice how this is going red, a brighter red, to a yellow, to brighter yellow, yellow, red. Right? This is all warm. Or cool, blue cool, blue, blue cool, neutral, cool, cool. So in one way, this whole color scheme is just warm versus cool. All right, guys. I think we better end it there. That's 31 minutes. I hope that made sense to you guys. Right, you can see these abstract movements here. They're just so obvious, but you don't see them until you see them. I mean, this guy is just over the top. It says, how good can you get? I don't know, but we got a long ways to go, guys. We got a long ways to go. So again, this was the Rembrandt that was stolen from the Gardner Museum. His only seascape is, I'm informed. His only seascape. And, man, that'd have been fun to see. There's a ton more to show you, but we'll leave it here and maybe we'll come back to this sometime. Again, so as you're in the studio this week, when you're doing your white note, how many different kinds of white notes are you? Look at the white on that water. Look at the white on the highlight of the oar. Look at the white on the highlight of the mass. Look at the white on the collar of his shirt. All of them very different in character, but the same value. Right? So even though we're working with 4 limited values, how can we get more and more and more and more out of them? Right? I mean, come on, it's Rembrandt. Rembrandt can do it, we can. What's the big deal about him, huh? What's the big deal about this guy? All right, so we got morning jump start tomorrow morning. And let's see if we can't make ours look like Rembrandt. All right. Thank you guys so much. Just amazing. Thank you, Susan, for bringing us to our attention. Yeah, not one of these things are going to necessarily do it by seeing it over and over and in different ways. I hope it becomes clearer and clearer to you guys. Yeah, thank you, Susan, for sharing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, everybody. Hope to see you in the morning. Good night. Bye-bye.